All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, sincere and hopeful elect Akim of Ma'at Arabaim Arabai Alap, that is to say 144,000, okay, which is what we are striving to be a part of, being that we have put our hand to the plow, all right, and, push the word, okay. So in this lesson, I want to get into Russia and China, all right, China in particular. You got, China. Salakia. China heavily invested in South America, okay? And you see how the U.S. via Donald Trump sending, a naval fleet, fleets of naval vessels and whatnot down to South America. Russia, China as well. All right, Russia and China assisting and aiding not only in the infrastructure but militarily. All right, assisting Venezuela down there in the Slovakia. Okay, them assisting, Venezuela via military. You have these three superpowers pretty much trying to establish a stronghold in South America. And the reason why that is because, through the spirit, I was thinking all of those countries, all right, those empires, China, Russia, and the U.S., want control of the Israelites. Okay? The Israelites make the world go round. And these countries know that, after World War III, when the smoke clears, they want to be in control of the Israelites. All right? Whatever Israelites is left on planet Earth, those are the one nation, that's the one nation of people that you must have in captivity. All right, you must have those people in slavery, being that they are the children of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Israelites. So that's why China is so invested in South America, invested in Africa, Russia, so invested in South America, invested in Africa, because those two nations, all right, those two kingdoms, the northern and southern kingdom, they, these heathen want to have control of. All right, now it starts with, oh, we're going to help invest in your infrastructure and this and that, okay? But when the smoke clears, all right, if Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah wasn't to come back, which we know he is, but if he wasn't to come back after World War III, or, in the midst of World War III, that friendly, oh, we're investing in, we're partners, that's going to all turn to, you guys are our slaves. Just how Donald Trump, you pulled a fast one on you people, we're going to make America great again, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and, I'm going to end the war in 24 hours, and gas and food to be more affordable and this and that. But when he got in office, he did a complete 180. So do you not think that these Moabites and these Russians is going to do this, would not do the same thing? Yeah, they're going to do the same thing if, we still had more captivities to go through. All right. But according to the scriptures, nah, this is the last one. This is the last go around. But that's why Russia and China is heavily invested in Africa, okay, in particular the West Coast, and also Central and South America. Why? Because it's the Israelites there. All right, so in their heart of hearts, they want control of the Israelites. When it's all said and done, we're gonna blow America up, and then whatever Israelites is left over, we got to have them in captivity. Okay. So this is a article. This is from September. This is a couple months ago, but it says China's concrete empire in South America. So you see that their empire in South America. All right, nothing about these, South Americans, what they got going on, and this land belonging to them, and no, it's China's empire in South America. Okay, it says Beijing is gradually linking South America together with its massive investments in infrastructure right under Washington's nose. In November 2024, Chinese President Xi Jinping personally inaugurated the construction, of a port in Chancy, Peru, with its with an initial $1.3 billion investment, operated and majority owned by COSCO, a Chinese state-owned shipping enterprise. Puerto Chances is now the largest and most influential deep water port in South America's Pacific coast. It already gives the People's Republic of China critical access to South American minerals and agriculture, but it could also do much more. The Pentagon has warned about Puerto Chances' dual-use potential for naval offensives against the U.S. homeland. All right, so the Pentagon is like, okay, they're investing in the infrastructure and whatnot, but this can also be used for China to house naval vessels, which can be effective in a time of war. Okay, pretty much establishing a stronghold in South America that'll be aimed against the U.S. Okay, so these countries ain't America, Russia, China. Neither one of them have the best the people's interests at heart. It's all all right. We gonna have access to your minerals, to your resources. Okay, and pretty much occupy you militarily, if need be. All right. It says China's Peruvian port may be its most significant strategic win to date on the American continent, but it is not its first. Over the past few decades, while the United States tried to develop democracies abroad, China has been quietly building an infrastructure enterprise across Latin America and the Caribbean, with the aim of economically and militarily alienating the continent from U.S. interests. All right, and it's more to it to this article, but just getting a gist of what China is doing. All right, in Russia to a lesser degree, doing the same thing. Okay, so it's evident that the Latin tribes will be exploited, will be ripped off, and what have you, by not only China but Russia. All right, these heathen nations are heathens, man. They don't give a shit about genuinely care about the well-being of the tribes. Okay, Moab had us in captivity at one point in time. All right, so let me read a quick little snippet out of here in Judges, the 3rd chapter. Okay, it says, going into the captivity that we had served under Moab. All right, now this would all, if the Lord wasn't returning, it would be round 2 of captivity, in particular for the Latin tribes under Moab. Okay, so Judges 3, and look, do you really want some Moabites ruling over you? They already arresting Moab here in America for selling niggas raccoon and every unlawful and detestable creature already. All right, that's gonna be, the normality. Eating squid and octopus and these things being, normalized, which the Latin tribes themselves already eat a bunch of bullshit. They eat some crazy stuff, So that will become normalized and promoted under Moab. Okay, so do you really want to experience that? All right, Judges 3:12 it says, and the children of Israel did evil against again in the sight of the Lord Yahweh, and Yahweh strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of Yahweh. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. Now, which is Jericho. All right, now it said that he grabbed Ammon and Amalek. All right, Ammon being the so-called Japanese, and Amalek being the gutter rats. All right, now in South America, Central and South America, a lot of those presidents of those different countries are actually small hats. All right, so-called Israelis. All right, crypto Jews, Amalekites. All right, and also you got the Japanese down there in Central and South America as well. All right, living high off the hog, suppressing the Israelites. All right, owning the little corner stores, selling Jake bullshit. Okay, bullshit restaurants. All right, so it's Moab, Ammon, and Amalek have always been teamed up against us Israelites. All right. Verse 14, it says, so the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. All right. Ehud delivers from Moab. It says, but when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord Yahweh raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjaminite, a man left-handed. And by him, the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. Hey, this is crazy. Through the Spirit, I was listening to Apostle Tahar this morning, and he was talking about there's in a recent video he was saying, majority of people are right-handed, because he was going into dextrose, if I'm not mistaken, the word, going into the right hand. All right, when you read Revelation, talking about the beast, the mark of the beast. But he was saying, some people are ambidextrous, but majority of the people are left-handed. Right-handed. And when he was saying that, before I even, I was thinking of Ehud, all right, which I had forgot his name, but I was like, man, I remember the left-handed Benjaminite, that went up against Moab. And I was thinking about that this morning, and through the Spirit, I'm doing this lesson and reading about him. All right, so that's the Spirit. So verse 15, it says, but when the children of Israel, Judges 3:15, but when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, the Lord Yahweh raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjaminite, a man left-handed, and by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. But Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. And he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people and bare the present. But he himself turned again from the queries that were by Gilgal, and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence, and all that stood by him went out of the room. So I'm going to read that in the NLT, verse 19. It says, but when Ehud reached the stone idols near Gilgal, he turned back. He came to Eglon and said, I have a secret message for you. So the king commanded his servants, be quiet, and he sent them all out of the room. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in the summer parlor, and this is back in KJV, verse 20, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from the Most High unto thee. And he arose out of his seat, and Ehud put forth his left hand. And just imagine that, man. Okay, here it is, you the king, and then you got a servant, all right, Israelite, which is at that time the deliverer for the nation of Israel, that said, I got a message from Yahweh for you, all right, from the Most High. And this fat ass Moabite, being the king, he was struck with fear, because he rose up out of his seat. You know what I'm saying? Here, you the king. You can sit down, man. You're not obligated to stand at attention when some servant comes to talk to you. All right, but being that this was a message from the Most High, okay, hey, he was struck with fear, and that's why he stood upon his feet. Okay. Verse 21, it says, and Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. And the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat enclosed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. So verse 22 in the NLT, it says, the dagger went so deep that the handle disappeared beneath the king's fat. So Ehud did not pull the dagger, and the king's bowels emptied. So he shitted on himself. All right, doo-doo came out, and he shitted on himself, all kind of stuff. All right, verse 23, KJV, it says, and Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. When he had gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. And they tarried till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore, they took a key and opened them. And behold, the Lord was fallen down dead on the earth. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond the quarries, and escaped unto Sirath. And it came to pass, when he had come, that he blew the trumpet of the in the mount of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. All right. So it's crazy that it said, he blew the trumpet in the mount of Ephraim, because Ephraim was the head of the northern kingdom. All right. And being that I brought up this story dealing with the northern kingdom down in South America, Central South America, being, the pretty much tribes that's occupied by Moab currently. It says, and he said unto them, verse 28, follow after me, for Yahweh hath delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all lusty, and all men of valor, and they escaped not a man, and there escaped not a man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. All right, so this is the account of the captivity that we served under Moab, and Ehud being the man that was chosen to deliver us, the nation of Israel, from this captivity. Now, the Lord in the scriptures does not say that Moab is going to rule over us again, man. But that's the aspiration of these Moabites, being that they come with this pseudo care and concern and desire to want to build up the infrastructure of Central and South America. All right, but it's a sinister purpose behind all that. Okay? Nahum 1:9, it says, "What do ye imagine against the Lord Yahweh? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time." Okay? So there will be no round 2 of Moabite captivity that the Israelites have to suffer. All right, so the Moabites can get that shit out their head because they're going to be destroyed when Yahweh Shem Yahushua returns. Okay, via World War III, all armies are going to be beat to a bloody pulp. All right, this is Psalm 2:1. It says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" All right, both Russia and China is imagining vanity, thinking that they're going to be, whether it's in tandem or individually, the next big dog on the block. All right, the same way America was able to, establish that dominance and that stronghold over, the world. All right, these heathen nations ain't going to be able to, as far as Moab and Ammon, they're not going to be able to pretty much take over once America goes down. All right, so everything they're imagining is all in vain, man. Okay, it says, "The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying." So everything these nations is doing, all these little meetings they have, G20 summit and the BRICS. All right, trilateral commission, you name it. It's all vanity. All right. And really, it's all centered in purpose to pretty much continue to oppress the Israelites, man. We got to keep them at the bottom. All right. That's the that's the goal and the purpose of these councils that they have. All right. Verse 3, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord Yahweh shall have them in derision." All right. So everything they doing is all for naught. Okay. Verse 5, it says, "Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure." All right. So via World War III, these nations is going to be rebuked by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's how he's going to speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Okay. It says, "Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion." All right. It says, "I will declare the decree. The Lord Yahweh has said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee." Going into Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh Shai being baptized and ultimately being baptized through that fire that hell he caught, and being obedient to the death of the cross, and via that obedience he was resurrected and lives forevermore. Okay, that's who the Lord has determined that will rule over all nations. All right, the king on his holy hill, Yahweh Shai. It says, "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the utmost parts of the earth for thy possession." So the whole world belongs to the Israelites. All right, starting with Yahweh Shai. "Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel." So those Moabites that think that they're going to have the southern kingdom as their possession, all right, the land and the people, they got another thing coming, man. They about to be beaten to pieces. Okay. It says, verse 10, be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, and be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Okay. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. And the only ones who sincerely put their trust in Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, are the elect of the nation of Israel, which once again, that's what we are striving to be a part of. All right. But the aspirations and goals and expectations that these nations have, in particular Moab, all right, who's as the scriptures say in the Apocrypha, partaking in the hope of Babylon. All that is going to come to a big fat zero, a big fat donut. All right, they're going to lose. All right, and there's 333 on this license plate in front of me. So Barakatah Yahbashim Yahshua Bashim Rakagadash. These heathens, they're going to lose miserably. All right, so that's the only reason why Russia and China, all right, China in particular, is really focused on and investing in South America and in Africa, okay? Because they want control over those resources that come from those two continents, as well as, control over those the natives that inhabit that land, man, the Israelites, all right? But their dreams is gonna come to nothing, and they're gonna be the ones that's gonna be in slavery, all right? Affliction shall not arise a second time. So, Abaratazar, that was an edifying lesson. Till next time, I say shalom.